Hey everyone, welcome to the Catholic Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Fisher. Really excited about our guest today. Things been busy. We have a lot of good interviews lined up. Coming up soon, I'm actually interviewing Trevor again from Argentine Brewing, and I'll kind of mark the 1 year anniversary of this podcast. I'm really excited about that. I hope you've been enjoying some of these interviews lately, these discussions. As always, if there's people you want me to interview, questions you want me to hit on, topics you want to talk about, let me know on Twitter. My handle is Mitchell J. Fisher, and I'm always all ears on that kind of thing. So would love to hear from you about what you think of the show so far. 1 year in, 1 year of the Catholic Entrepreneur Podcast. It's been a lot of fun. Today's guest is Nathan Price with Shepherd, so I'm just going to let him in and introduce himself. Nathan, how are you?
Mitch, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for hopping on. Really excited to hear from you. Finally get to chat here. So I'll just let you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do.
A little background about me. Bryce, based in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a co-founder, the operations guy for Shepherds, which is a clothing company, specifically tailored clothing, although we offer wear as well, polo shirts, jeans, quilted vests, and more casual outerwear. But our bread and butter business is jackets and suits and tuxedos, things like that. Working in clothing since I was 16, whether it was in the retail space or corporate, doing product sourcing, those various things, and then outside of work, a Catholic, and then a husband and father as well. So I have a wife and two kids, which keep me very busy.
Nice. Very cool. So you've been in clothing for a while. What got you started?
If you would have asked 16-year-old Nathan if this is what I would have been doing, I would have laughed at you. Uh, I played sports in high school and baseball specifically, and I was the guy who always wore Nike sweats and hoodie, and I went to a Catholic all boys school, and so we had formal attire on feast days and things like that, and I dreaded having to wear a tie or a jacket, but I did so begrudgingly. I got into this because their house in my city was paying $1 more an hour resume out when I was in high school, and I was like, okay, well, I want to make more money. Took the job, and I ended up enjoying it. I was just working the cash wrap and helping people tuxes for prom and things like that, and I don't know. I've kind of always liked to express myself through clothing, specifically when I was playing sports. You always you have to have the on the field swag. You have to be looking cool to play, to play well, uh, to express myself through clothing, and kind of found a different avenue. I like working with people. I eventually got onto the sales floor at Menswear, and then I started climbing and looking for opportunities to increase my overall ticket. So I went from there to dress shoes, and then I went to dress shoes at Allen Edmonds. Then I went to Brooks Brothers, and then I worked for a couple different custom companies when I was in college and right after college. And then I thought that clothing was done. I opened a business up in Chicago doing commercial services. So we contracts with office buildings doing tutorial work and carpet cleaning and bathroom tile reglazing and things like that. And then this thing, in another life, I would still be up in Chicago because I thought, hey, there's always going to be office buildings. Great business. Yeah, there's this thing happened in 2020, and so my wife was pregnant with my son first, and something a little bit more stable. 2020 was a really rough year for business in the line of work that I was in. So I got out of it, went back into clothing, worked in the corporate side doing product development and actually running a brand. There's a brand on YouTube called the Gentleman's Gazette. They've got, I don't know, now 1.7 or 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube, and an online store. It's a seven-figure business, and I ran operations for them for 2.5 years. Through doing product sourcing and operations, it's a small business. There's 7 employees. So moving to Europe and doing product sourcing and all this stuff. So when the opportunity came to start Shepherds, really nice long, book of references that I could, reach out to kind of put put this brand together. And it's been a lot of fun. We've been at it for almost 2 years, which is crazy to think about. It's gone by really fast, but that's kind of story of everything that happened, up until what I'm doing now.
Wow. That's really neat to hear how you took an opportunity as a 16-year-old to, and then how that's grown so much. Because I think people talk about what are you passionate about, like going to what you're passionate about, and you never would have discovered this had you not just like jumped into something and moved with the opportunity. So I think that's an interesting kind of story. But tell me about Shepherd's. Like, so it's almost 2 years. That's fairly new.
It is. The story of how it all came together. There's four co-founders. It's myself, right, one named Chris Cottrell, and then Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Started working with Harrison, designing his suits, using another company. Them back when I was working with the Gentleman's Gazette. Opportunity to purchase a small business, doing what we do. Look at it, and I said that, hey, I really don't like the product that they're offering. I think it's subpar quality. At the same time, was looking at financial side of doing a merger and acquisition, and it just didn't make sense. So our joint proposal to the other two gentlemen was, we can do this for a fraction of the amount of money and have a lot more fun and have complete control over what it is. Various things that were core values of ours. One of them was, being made in Europe and being made in places where workers are treated well. I think that comes from the shared Catholic faith among all of us, that we want to feel good about have to offer, and we want to offer something of really good quality, but also feel, know where our garments are made, and that the people there are taken care of, and they have families, and they can afford homes, and those things. So how it all came together, or at least the brief version of it. The last almost 2 years have been a ton of fun. It's just been find opportunities to grow, and for relationships to leverage, especially within the Catholic sphere. A lot of fun, and I'm really proud of built.
Yeah, that's really neat. So you've got the store in Kansas City, right? And then I saw you're opening or have opened a location in Washington D.C.
We don't have a spot in DC. We have opened our first permanent location in Kansas City. The grand opening is actually next week. Operating out of space for the last 18 months or so. As
Gotcha.
we kind of opened our first ground floor brick and mortar showroom here, and then we travel. We're on the road probably once a month, again through connections within the Catholic community. So we were in DC in September. We had an event at the CIC, the Catholic Information Center, through various relationships that Chris, Austin, and Harrison have. Very gracious to let us use their space for a day. And then they sent out our information to their entire email list. And we booked up all of the appointments in one day, in a couple hours. So then we extended into a second day. We travel probably once a month. See on social media or on our website that, hey, we're going to such a place, 2 weeks to a month or so.
Okay, very cool. And so there's different sides of the business, right? So you've got you take appointments like in person, and then do you also sell directly to consumers via the website, or how does that all work? Like if I'm just like looking for a suit, maybe I'm not around Kansas City.
We have so on our website we have a shop. We have what we call our perennial collection. So these are items that we think that good for guys to own, and that you can determine what is good for you. If I wear a suit to mass to work 5 days a week, great. If you're someone who never wears a suit and you sports jackets to mass, we have those to choose from. There's multiple ways to do those fittings. Purchase online and put in some general sizing information, and we can, like your 40 jacket, and we will make it for you in a 40 jacket. And that's easiest way, but doesn't have the most precise fit. You can also purchase and do what's called or a virtual fitting kit. Send out actual templates. So we'll send you a couple different jackets, a couple different pants. We'll get on FaceTime about, feeling, comfort, discomfort, things like that. I can see things on camera of how to improve that fit. Uh, Very successful doing that. I've had a lot of success stories, but there's a in Seattle who's a former football player, college, and he went into the NFL, and he's 6 foot 270, and now he's a power lifter. We fit him first try, and he's never been able to find suits that fit. And then the third option is you can buy online, and if you're in Kansas City, you can obviously come in and get measured in person. Alternative route to that is you just go to our website and then you book a fitting in person in Kansas City. So there's different ways to but we've seen a lot of success with in person and then also virtual fittings.
Very cool. How did you initially start marketing the company? Like, um, I know you're active on social media. What were some ways that you started to get clients?
Plus, with you, we've been at this. Spent little to no money of actual advertising or marketing dollars. We've been very fortunate through the network that we have within the Catholic community. We've used a lot of word of mouth opportunities like the CIC to us when we're going to be in town. They obviously have a huge email list. Today actually kicked off a collaboration with the Daily Wires brand Mayflower Cigars. That's through a mutual relationship that we have with Michael Knowles. So it's trying to figure out those connections and leverage them for more opportunities. Come a time where we're going to have to start paying for marketing and advertising. Oh, and then obviously the other big one is Harrison wears our suits every single week for football and posts them on social media. He has a large social media following, so you stack all those things up and
Mhm.
able to cobble together a business that's still running after a couple of years.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool and important to talk about. Like, what would be your biggest piece of advice to entrepreneurs who maybe struggle in that area of just like networking connections and utilizing that avenue for growth? Because clearly that's working really well, and not everyone, myself included, sometimes we struggle with like the networking piece of things. What would be your biggest piece of advice?
Piece of advice would be afraid to out, try to provide value in mutually beneficial way. Uh, like for me, I don't consider myself a salesman. I'm not a shark. I'm not aggressive. Genuinely provide value and help people and help our clients. So when I came to Kansas City, I needed to my people that I knew very quickly. So I got involved with a bunch of business networking groups, and that stuff does not come naturally to me. You just have to put yourself out there. You have to meet people, uh, meet the first person, say hi, shake their hand, and then get to talking about what they do. To talk about themselves, and then naturally they'll start being they'll start asking some questions about you. They'll usually find some common interest, like, oh, I have a consulting company and all of my clients are all attorneys, like they would love your love to work with you. And you'll find I've found that that's way to do it initially, especially if you don't have sources of founder with a large social media following. It's reaching out, seeing people who are kind of within your space, telling them that you like what they do, and seeing how you guys can work together. Like self, Mitch, other Catholic creators, and reaching out to the ones that you really like what they're doing and asking for pointers, or just honestly just trying to create a friendship online. And you never know, if they like something that you post, they'll reshare it just kind of naturally without you asking for it. Because I think a lot of people want to help each other, especially if you share that same the same values of the faith. And yeah, I think it's just being open and reaching out and going for it, or I guess shooting your shot, as they say.
Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. Tell me a little bit more about this collaboration you launched today. I'm curious how that kind of came to be.
um, through the relationships that we have, fortunate to have that. Haley Homeschool, which is the largest private classical homeschool. My business partners are on the board, Austin and Harrison. A large gala in May. One of the other chairmen of the board asked us if we wanted to donate suits for the honorees who were speaking. And those honorees happened to be Scott Hahn and Matt Walsh. And so, just by sheer happenstance, Chris and I went to Nashville to do a fitting for Matt. We're in the green room at Daily Wire's headquarters, and we're fitting Matt, and Michael Knowles walks in. While we're there, we offered to get him fit. Conversation about just some of the mutual people that knew, and obviously he of Harrison. We went back for the gala and talking to Michael, off and on, and talked about this concept of doing this jacket. And when we were there, we had lunch with Michael. This is in May. Really, solidified Michael on it, and Michael was going to take it to the DW business team, meeting with them shortly thereafter, and then it was really kind of a race to see how fast we could put this together. First part was creating the various custom elements of it. So the lining on the inside of the jacket is custom with their logo, as well as the label on the inside. Usually, our labels are mass manufactured and they say Shepherds, and it's very standardized that every time a suit comes out of our tailoring facility, they just have the generic Shepherd's logo. Well, now we have to kind of restart the whole process, create a new logo, tell them, hey, products get this logo, making sure that all those kinks are all ironed out. Jackets over for photography and promo, and it went live today. So again, it's just out people that you can work with, and value trade was for us. Daily Wire has a huge network and a huge audience, and at the same time, they had some frustrations in the past with launching clothing, and so it was like, hey, I will take that on. I guarantee you, we won't have problems because this is what we do, and there's a value exchange there, and I think everything indicates that they're pretty happy. So,
Yeah, very cool. That's that's neat. So, um, what does your day to day look like? I'm sure it's different every day, obviously, but tell me a little bit about kind of your role and how that plays into the grand scheme of things.
so I everything that's client facing, interactions, customer satisfaction. If we have a show in DC, all the orders that those gentlemen place will come to Kansas City. They will be inspected and then packed and shipped to those guys' homes. Uh, Everything from appointments to packing orders to on Harrison's wardrobe for the football season, making sure that I'm up to date on all of our product offerings. We have over 10,000 fabrics in stock in a variety of different books and collections. So making sure when new things come in, I'm up to date on what we have to offer. So if there's someone has a unique request during an appointment, I know exactly what to pull and to offer to them. An ideal day, because my day changes a ton, is usually 5 gym. In there is prayer, whether that's car. If I'm in a hurry, I'll listen to devotional or say the whole rosary, part of the rosary, something like that, depending on go to the gym and shower, get cleaned up. I'm usually in the showroom, depending on what I have going on, anywhere from 8:30 in the morning till sometimes 9:30. It just depends. We open from 10 till 6, so it just depends on how late I'm out the night before, because in the evenings is all either appointments or local networking opportunities. And then all day long is either appointments or entering orders or follow up on orders, or questions, things like that. Afternoons and evenings are usually a bunch of local networking opportunities here in Kansas City. So there'll be P for the Catholic folks. There will be a whole bunch of business groups, owners groups, things like that I try to hit around 4 or 5 o'clock. And then if I don't have those and I don't have any appointments late into the afternoon, I'll try to get home so I can be family for dinner. It's put the kids to bed and spend some time with my wife and do it all over again.
Very cool. Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty busy day, and I'm sure exciting as well.
And it's never the same. I mean, some days it's get up and fly to another state, and then it's 12 or 15 appointments a day for a day or a couple days, and then fly home. And it's been hard to get into a consistent routine because there's always something changing. Try to stick to one the best that I can.
Yeah, 100%. Uh, what's it like putting together Harrison suits every week? Like, what's that process like? I'm curious.
I will say I actually just told him a few weeks ago. I'm like, it's getting harder because the one thing that I want to do is something new single week. And I've been working. I've been very blessed to work with him for on 3 years now. So a lot of the classic suiting things are already done. Uh, could go back and kind of recycle those, but I always try to look to put a new twist on things. So one of the things that I will do is when I see a fabric come in, our fabrics refreshed usually every fall, winter, and spring, summer. We'll get some kind of exclusive stuff. For right now, when the fabrics are coming in, those at what's something that's new or exciting or something that we haven't done before or something that I don't think anybody in the league has the confidence to pull off. Pull those things out, and then I go through the schedule and I consider because I want to make sure that all the details are correct. Just go to Miami in December. I can pull off items that are lighter weight. He's not going to have to wear a coat. Very different if they're going to go to Buffalo in November, December. Then I need an overcoat, heavier fabric. So I play into account also time of day. Going to be a night game is when the Chiefs. I also want to make sure that there's good photography. So is he getting out at car and walking into the stadium when it's sunny? To take all these things into account. Sunny and he's being photographed. I don't want colors on him that are super light because they might wash him out. I take all these things into account and then I try to pick together combinations, whether it's a full suit or a jacket and pants that we've never done before or most people in the league either haven't seen or wouldn't be daring enough to pull off. And I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping people on their toes with some exciting stuff.
Yeah. I think that's always a because I mean you post those every week, right? Like I usually see those on Instagram at some point. I think that's like a fun, really fun way to highlight what you're doing, and that post is always a sharp looking post every week. So
It's super fun because I see the in front of me. I pick the shirt, the tie, the bag that he carries, the shoes, like see the like raw materials. And then I like to see when the photographer takes it and puts his own spin on it, whether it's, off the plane, coming out of the car, standing in front of the engine or walking into the stadium or whatever it is. It's always fun to then see how it looks in life, which is I always like, opening those up on Sunday and, getting surprised with how it turns out.
yeah, definitely. What's been the difference or like some of the interesting things about maybe working for running a secular business versus now kind of honestly the benefit of like being in the Catholic space. I think I would agree with what you said earlier. Like being in the Catholic space, you have people who want to help and you have kind of immediate connections. It's easy to establish those. What's that been like and what would you tell other Catholic entrepreneurs to do with that?
I think first impression, I left the corporate secular world in July of or June of 23. Immediately, like our first trunk show, like we had just started the business and we went to the Napa conference and I had never experienced something like that uh, in my childhood or a young adult years. I was told my wife that it restored my faith in the idea of the church because everybody there, not that I ever had like doubt, but it like there is doing something to better the church or Catholic schools or whatever it is. There's nonprofit, there's for profit, there's uh, missionaries, there's funds, and there's all these groups there, and everybody wants to work together and figure out how they can help each other. I found it unbelievably refreshing and easy doing collaborations in the in the secular world is usually, well, what's in it for me? For the Gentleman's Gazette, we had a big YouTube channel. So our approach was, let's collaborate with smaller channels so we had the leverage, right? Here it's approaching someone who has a way bigger following or a way bigger audience is so much easier because you understand that help promote you and help give you business that going to do good with that. You're going to employ people, or you're going to, you're not going to donate the money to, nasty groups or things like that. So I think it's very refreshing. So my advice to Catholic entrepreneurs would be, again, look for ways to help other entrepreneurs. I feel like watching someone and their content or their product that they're putting out, and feel like you have 2 cents to throw in, or someone put something on Instagram like, hey, we're struggling with our a system and you are really knowledgeable, offer to help. you know uh, we've, whether it's me or Chris, we've jumped in on various projects, yielded sometimes no benefit to our company as far as dollars, but it helps to solidify a relationship. And those, I feel like down the road, those will always pay dividends. Those people will remember you coming, to their help when they needed it. So yeah, I would say go for it. Find a way to help. And if someone is Catholic and in business,
100%. Where can people find Shepherds, book an appointment with you, and then also just get to know you better, maybe?
Shepherds is shepherds.com. We actually just acquired that domain. It was like a year-long process. So shepherds.com. On Instagram, it's Wear Shepherds, WEAR, like wear clothing, Wear Shepherds. That'll eventually get changed. That verifies our URL. Then for me, I'm on Instagram. I'm public at Nathaniel J. Price. I post mostly stuff about my family, but if we're doing exciting stuff at Shepherds, then I also like to share that there too.
I'll be sure to link that down below as well. So Nathan, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Finally got to meet you and chat with you. So it's good. I hope to keep in touch and
Yeah,
keep up the good work. Love seeing what you're doing. So
yeah, I absolutely love it. It's been fun recently, opening up like Instagram every day and seeing your day in the life content. So
thank you.
yeah,
Yes, I'm gonna keep that up. It's been kind of a fun little thing for me to do. So
I've seen other creators do it, and they're kind of oddly satisfying to watch. So
thank you. I appreciate that, Nathan. God bless. We'll see ya.
take care, man. See
Bye.
ya.